Think Iceland is all about the aurora borealis and the blue lagoon? I think again. From intimate dating customs to bizarre food traditions, from magical beliefs to strict nudity requirements, this Nordic island operates by rules that challenge everything most people expect from modern European societies. Let's explore what's happening in Iceland, real life in 2025. Fact 1. Intimacy comes before coffee dates. In Iceland, the phrase "get intimate before you buy coffee" reflects a shocking reality about dating culture. With a population of less than 400,000 people, Icelanders usually already know each other through mutual friends or social circles. This creates a dating environment where traditional courtship seems unnecessary. Physical intimacy is not considered sacred or tied exclusively to marriage and long-term commitment. Instead, it's viewed as a normal part of life, connected to Iceland's strong beliefs in gender equality and personal freedom. Many couples start with physical intimacy first, then meet for coffee afterward to actually get to know each other as people. Some even pretend they never met at all if things don't work out. Even more surprising, Iceland created something called Icelandic, which helps Icelanders avoid accidentally dating relatives by providing detailed family tree charts. Do you want to know the secret to winning the heart of an Icelandic girl? Leave a comment with the number 1 and we will tell you. Fact 2. The world's most unusual museum. Located in Reykjavik, the Icelandic Phallological Museum holds the distinction of being one of only 2 museums in the world dedicated entirely to collecting and studying male reproductive organs from various species. Founded in 1997 by retired teacher Sigurdur H.R. Tarson, the museum began as a private collection but has grown to include more than 280 specimens from over 90 different species. The collection includes specimens from whales, seals, land mammals, and even human donors who volunteered their organs for scientific purposes. While the museum's focus might seem shocking or inappropriate to some visitors, it presents all exhibits in a completely scientific and educational manner. Each display includes detailed biological information alongside cultural references and artistic interpretations. The museum reflects Iceland's remarkably open, humorous, and unashamed attitude towards sexuality and human anatomy. Fact 3. Public urination is culturally acceptable. In Iceland, relieving yourself outdoors in remote areas is not only tolerated but practically necessary due to the complete lack of public restroom facilities at most tourist destinations. Iceland receives nearly 2 million visitors annually despite having a population of only 400,000 people, but the country has virtually no public toilets at popular attractions like Skogafoss Waterfall, the Laugavíkur Trail, or the Landmannalaugar Plateau. This creates situations where outdoor urination becomes unavoidable for tourists on long hiking excursions or remote sightseeing trips. Icelanders have developed an unwritten code of ethics around this practice. Public urination is acceptable as long as it's done discreetly, away from crowds, and with absolute commitment to leaving no trace behind. The key rule is environmental responsibility rather than legal prohibition. At popular tourist locations, officials have posted signs with instructions on proper outdoor bathroom etiquette, including detailed guidance on how to bury toilet paper and waste materials properly. Some signs use humor to address the issue, with messages like "This is not a toilet," "Please do not leave your masterpiece here," posted at scenic viewpoints. The practice has become so common that Reddit forums and travel blogs regularly feature photos of tourists relieving themselves behind hills, vehicles, or roadside signs throughout Iceland's remote regions. Comment number 2 if you have saved this important information to your travel guide. Fact 4. Laws about intimate services that defy convention. In Iceland, it is illegal to pay for intimate services and it is illegal to profit from providing them, but it is worth noting that providing such services voluntarily remains legal. This unusual legal structure was designed specifically to protect individuals who might otherwise be exploited while avoiding criminalizing those who choose to provide services but independently. The law extends to entertainment as well. Strip shows are completely illegal in Iceland, meaning visitors won't find any strip clubs during their stay. NSFW content production and distribution are also technically illegal, though authorities don't actively pursue individuals who consume such content privately. Help us continue telling these untold stories, like, share, and support our journey. Fact 5. Mandatory naked bathing before hot springs. In Iceland, wearing any clothing while bathing in hot springs is considered extremely rude, and this rule is strictly enforced at all public geothermal facilities throughout the country. It's at public pools like Laugardalslag in Reykjavik or Mývatn nature baths. There are mandatory nude washing areas where visitors must thoroughly wash their hair and scrub their entire bodies before entering the hot springs. This isn't optional or suggested, it's absolutely required, and staff members will monitor compliance and ask people to restart the process if they don't follow the rules properly. The cultural reasoning behind this practice involves cleanliness, equality, and the belief that the human body is nothing to be ashamed of or hide. Icelanders view nudity in these contexts as completely natural and necessary for maintaining proper hygiene standards in shared bathing facilities. Even at the famous Blue Lagoon, which attracts more than 1.2 million international visitors annually, the nude washing requirement remains strictly enforced. Many tourists initially feel uncomfortable with this requirement, but most find that the relaxing experience of soaking in 38 degrees Celsius mineral-rich water makes them forget their initial embarrassment. Fact 6. Traditional foods that challenge international palates. Icelandic cuisine includes several traditional dishes that can be genuinely shocking to visitors from other cultures, not just because of unusual preparation methods, but because of the extreme flavors and ingredients involved. The hakarl, or fermented shark, ranks among the world's most challenging foods to eat. This dish involves burying Greenland shark meat underground for several months, allowing it to ferment, then digging it up and air drying it for additional months. The resulting product has such a strong ammonia smell and intense flavor that even celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain described it as the worst, most disgusting, and most horrible tasting food ever created. Svid represents another shocking traditional dish that involves boiling an entire sheep's head, including the cheeks, tongue, and sometimes the eyes. The head is served whole, and diners are expected to eat every part, including picking meat from around the eye sockets and consuming the tongue and brain tissue. This latter encompasses various blood-based sausages and puddings made from sheep's blood mixed with fat and grains. These products, including Blodmore blood pudding and Lafarpilsa liver sausage, can be served either hot or cold, but their primary ingredient often disturbs visitors who aren't accustomed to eating blood-based foods. A hrutsbunger, or pickled sheep testicles, represent perhaps the most shocking traditional delicacy served during the Thoramatur Midwinter Festival. The testicles are preserved in whey and served as a special treat, but the presentation and concept can be quite overwhelming for unprepared visitors. Which dish would you like to try first? Let us know in the comments. Fact 7. More than half the population believes in elves. Prepare yourself for this one, because it sounds like something from a fairy tale, but it's absolutely true. Scientific surveys show that 54.4% of Iceland's population believes in the existence of hidden people, invisible elves, and supernatural creatures that inhabit the countryside. Even more surprising, many others at least consider the possibility that these beings might exist. You can actually see physical evidence of this belief throughout Iceland in the form of small wooden houses called fairy islands that some people build specifically for elves to live in. These tiny structures dot the landscape, constructed by Icelanders who want to provide proper housing for their supernatural neighbors. Iceland even has an official elf school where visitors can learn about Icelandic elf history, different types of hidden people, and the cultural significance of these beliefs. The school offers certificates and takes the subject matter completely seriously, treating elf knowledge as legitimate cultural education. Fact 8. Alcohol and beer only sold at state liquor stores. There was once a strange era in Iceland that lasted over 70 years when hard liquor was legal, but beer was totally banned. The ban started in 1915, when the government outlawed all alcohol for healthy living. In 1933, hard liquor was re-legalized, mainly for economic reasons and pressure from fish export partners like Spain and Portugal. But beer stayed banned for another 56 years. Why? Beer was seen as too cheap, too addictive, and too likely to be abused, especially by youth and workers. But Icelanders didn't just go thirsty. They invented Bioleiki, a creative cocktail mixing non-alcoholic beer with the local spirit, brennivin. Finally, on March 1st, 1989, beer was legalized. And since then, Icelanders celebrate National Beer Day, when locals and tourists raise a glass to beer freedom. Still, beer in Iceland is tightly controlled. You can't buy beer at supermarkets, only at Vinbúðin, the state-run liquor store chain. The beer sold in supermarkets is actually low alcohol under 2.25% and doesn't count as real beer. In fact, Iceland now ranks among the top 5 most expensive countries for beer, with 10 to 12 per pint at bars and $3.50 per can at Vinbúðin. Fact 9. Boxing is completely banned. Iceland holds the distinction of being the only remaining Nordic country that maintains a complete ban on boxing, and they've stuck to this 1956 prohibition even as Norway and Sweden changed their positions and legalized the sport. The reasoning behind this ban reveals fascinating insights into how Icelanders think about violence and public safety. Boxing was initially banned because government officials directly assumed that increasing violent crime rates in the 1930s and 1940s were caused by the growing popularity of boxing. They believed that watching and participating in organized fighting was encouraging violent behavior in the general population. Rather than creating a culture without martial arts, this boxing ban had an unexpected consequence. Alternative fighting sports like judo, karate, mixed martial arts, and taekwondo became incredibly popular in Iceland. These disciplines were considered more acceptable because they emphasized self-control, discipline, and defensive techniques rather than pure aggression. Ironically, one of the most famous figures in mixed martial arts comes from Iceland. Gunnar Nelson from Reykjavik became an undefeated MMA champion and helped establish several successful Icelandic MMA clubs. His success demonstrates how the boxing ban actually led to Iceland developing expertise in more sophisticated fighting disciplines. The ban remains in effect today, and there's little political interest in changing it. Fact 10. Dogs were banned in the capital city. Reykjavik once maintained one of the world's most unusual urban pet policies by completely banning dogs as household companions. This prohibition, introduced in 1924, emerged when the capital faced a surge in dog-related diseases that threatened public health across the small urban population. The ban was comprehensive and strictly enforced. Rural residents could continue keeping working or hunting dogs, but these animals were absolutely forbidden from entering city limits. The policy remained in effect for decades, making Reykjavik one of the few major cities where dog ownership was completely illegal. Today, the law has been significantly relaxed, but dog ownership in Reykjavik still requires navigating complex bureaucratic requirements. Prospective dog owners must obtain an official city permit, pay registration fees, and comply with strict quarantine and vaccination regulations that exceed requirements in most other countries. The legacy of this unusual policy continues to influence pet ownership culture in the capital. Many residents remain more cautious about dog ownership than people in other cities, and the permit process ensures that only dedicated owners proceed with adoption. This historical quirk demonstrates how health concerns in small populations can lead to extreme but effective policy solutions. Fact 11. Trans fat foods are illegal to sell. Iceland has implemented one of the world's strictest laws regarding trans fats in food, and this regulation has eliminated many popular international food products from Icelandic stores. The law prohibits the sale of any food items containing more than 2 grams of trans fat per 100 grams of product. This seemingly simple rule has had dramatic consequences for international food brands trying to sell products in Iceland. Many popular American snack foods that are available worldwide cannot be legally sold in Iceland because they exceed the trans fat limits. A Pop Secret microwavable popcorn, which contains 28% trans fat, is completely banned. Local Icelandic products have also been affected by this regulation. Traditional items like Kleiner pastries minus 18% trans fat, certain MS's ice cream flavors minus 23% trans fat, and Olivia brand margarine minus 23% trans fat had to either change their formulations or disappear from store shelves entirely. However, some beloved international products managed to stay legal. Iceland's favorite chocolate bar from Poland, Prince Polo, contains only 1.5% trans fat and remains widely available throughout the country. This law reflects Iceland's broader commitment to public health and willingness to prioritize citizen well-being over commercial convenience. The government decided that the health risks of trans fats were too significant to ignore, even if eliminating them meant losing access to popular food products. Fact 12. No mosquitoes exist anywhere. Despite having a climate that varies significantly from region to region and being surrounded by water bodies that should create perfect mosquito breeding conditions, Iceland has achieved something that most countries can only dream of: a complete absence of mosquitoes. There are literally zero mosquitoes anywhere on the island. This absence of blood-sucking insects seems almost impossible given Iceland's geography and climate conditions. Most countries with similar environments struggle with massive mosquito populations, especially during warmer months. Iceland's unique atmospheric conditions and temperature patterns somehow prevent mosquitoes from establishing sustainable populations. However, before you start planning your mosquito-free vacation, you should know that Iceland has substituted one annoying flying insect for another. Instead of mosquitoes, visitors will encounter black flies, which can be incredibly bothersome, especially in the Mývatn area during certain times of the year. These black flies don't carry the same disease risks as mosquitoes, but they can make outdoor activities unpleasant if you're not properly prepared. Experienced travelers to Iceland always pack insect repellent specifically designed for black flies rather than mosquito protection. The absence of mosquitoes also means that Iceland doesn't face the same public health challenges related to mosquito-borne diseases that affect many other countries. This eliminates concerns about malaria, dengue fever, Zika virus, and other serious illnesses transmitted by mosquito bites. If you're still watching this video and found this information helpful, please comment number 5 below to let me know you're here. Fact 13. Babies sleep outside in strollers year-round. One sight that shocks many visitors to Iceland is seeing baby strollers parked outside cafes and restaurants while parents enjoy meals inside, with infants peacefully sleeping in freezing temperatures. This isn't neglect or abandonment, it's a deeply ingrained cultural practice that Icelanders consider completely normal and beneficial for child health. Icelandic babies routinely nap outdoors at least once per day, regardless of the season or weather conditions. Parents bundle their children in appropriate winter gear and leave them outside in strollers to sleep in fresh air, even when temperatures drop well below freezing. You'll see this happening outside homes, shops, restaurants, and public buildings throughout the country. This practice stems from traditional Scandinavian beliefs that fresh air strengthens immune systems and promotes better sleep patterns in children. Icelandic parents firmly believe that outdoor sleeping helps their babies develop stronger resistance to illness and creates healthier sleep habits that last into adulthood. The safety aspect that would concern parents in many other countries isn't an issue in Iceland because of the extremely low crime rates and strong community trust. Parents feel completely comfortable leaving their sleeping babies unattended outside because they know their communities will watch out for the children's welfare. Medical professionals in Iceland support this practice and often recommend outdoor sleeping to new parents as a way to improve infant health outcomes. The combination of cultural tradition and perceived health benefits makes outdoor baby sleeping one of Iceland's most distinctive parenting practices. Fact 14. Fake marriage immigration schemes are illegal? Iceland has developed serious problems with fraudulent marriages designed to circumvent immigration laws, and the government has implemented strict penalties to combat these schemes. With increasingly restrictive immigration policies, some foreigners have attempted to enter fake marriages with Icelandic citizens to obtain legal residency status. These arrangements typically involve foreigners paying between $15,000 and $25,000 to Icelandic citizens who agree to marry them temporarily, then divorce after 1 or 2 years once permanent residence permits are secured. The couples often create elaborate false evidence of their relationships to fool immigration authorities. Investigating these fake marriages presents significant challenges for Icelandic immigration officials because the couples often have convincing evidence including cohabitation documentation, travel photographs, shared addresses, and carefully rehearsed stories about their married life that match perfectly during separate interviews. Over the past 5 years, applications for permanent residency based on marriage have increased by more than 40%, with most applications coming from developing countries in Asia and Africa. While some couples meet through legitimate online dating, others connect through secretive chat groups and immigration forums specifically designed to facilitate fraudulent marriages. Local media sources estimate that between 100 and 150 marriages per year are suspected of being fraudulent arrangements, but only about 5 to 10% of these cases are actually investigated due to resource limitations and the difficulty of proving fraud. Icelandic law imposes serious criminal penalties for marriage fraud. Foreign participants face deportation and permanent bans from re-entering the country, while Icelandic citizens can receive substantial fines or suspended prison sentences for their participation in these schemes. Fact 15. Icelandic flag underwear is illegal. It is completely illegal to sell, manufacture, or wear underwear, swimwear, or any other clothing items that feature the Icelandic flag design. The Icelandic flag represents much more than national symbolism to Icelanders. The blue represents the surrounding seas, white symbolizes the ice and glaciers, and red represents the volcanic fire that shaped the island. Using these sacred colors and design for undergarments is considered deeply disrespectful and culturally offensive. This law extends beyond just underwear to include any inappropriate use of the flag design. Using the flag as a picnic blanket, sitting on it at the beach, or spreading it on the ground for photographs can result in police intervention and potential fines. Some tourists have been charged up to $1,450 for selling flag-themed bikinis at summer festivals. International brands have faced serious cultural backlash for accidentally including the Icelandic flag on shoes, hats, or face masks, causing widespread outrage on social media platforms and forcing companies to issue public apologies and withdraw products from the market. Even during major patriotic celebrations like National Day on June 17th, Icelanders never wear flag-emblazoned clothing or accessories, despite this being common patriotic expression in many other countries. This restraint demonstrates the deep respect Icelanders maintain for their national symbols. Understanding these uncensored realities helps explain why Iceland consistently ranks among the world's happiest countries, despite maintaining practices that might seem restrictive or unusual elsewhere. Their unique approach to social challenges, cultural preservation, and individual freedom creates a society that works remarkably well for its residents while surprising nearly everyone else. The next time someone mentions Iceland, remember that behind those stunning northern lights and pristine glaciers lies a country where elves influence construction projects, marriage fraud threatens national security, and naked bathing represents the height of cultural respectfulness. What surprised you most about these Icelandic realities? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to discover more shocking truths about countries that seem ordinary on the surface, make sure to subscribe for more eye-opening documentaries that reveal what guidebooks never dare to mention. We are so glad you are with us today. Please leave a comment, like the video to support us, and subscribe for more videos. See you soon.